Hey, what's going on, guys? It's been a minute, but I got some time, so I'm going to work on something. I'm going to be working on Ian's Real Parts Obi Wan Saber. Actually, I'm going to be finishing it, assuming nothing crazy happens. Really, the big thing that's got to be done is the plug that goes into the middle of the balance pipe has got to be shaved down just a bit so it'll fit inside of it. I've already gone to the hardware store and I picked up an O-ring to fit in that groove, so it has a little tension in case I shave off. I plan on shaving off just a hair more than I need to, and then using the O-ring as tension to keep it in the right place. So now I just need to work on my little contraption so I can mount that into my drill press, and then file and sand the edges like a lathe, like a ghetto metal lathe. That's what we're doing, ghetto metal lathe. Yeah, and then the other part is you got some new resistors, transistors, or whatever, and they just got to be screwed on. So, piece of cake there. But yeah, let's get to working on this little contraption for my metal lathing. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't quite fit. Just a hair too big. So what I'm going to do, I've got this little guy, which will seat in here, and just kind of hold it. And then I'm going to thread this on here, and I'm going to have a nut, this piece. It's going to be like this. Nut, this piece, then washer, and nut. And that's going to give us our, way to keep it locked in place and tight while I'm got it in the drill press. But this hole's too small, so I got to shave that out. Alright, so I've got the O-ring on there, as you can see. It sticks out a little bit further than I thought. I know that's what the groove is there for, but I'm kind of not quite decided how I want to approach trying to make that O-ring itself skinnier, because this plug is just barely fitting in there. There's a little bit of play, but not quite enough to get that in there, not without like a press. I mean, I could put it in the vise, but I don't know if I care for that idea. So I'm thinking about trying to shave down the O-ring. I can always get another O-ring. I actually have another O-ring I got two. One that's pretty much the same size as this, but because it's stretched, it's sticking up. And then I got one that's just a hair bigger. I thought if I used the smaller one, it maybe would stretch the material, it'd be thinner. That's the one that's on here now. So maybe I'll just try to shave it down with an X-Acto blade real quick. I don't know. Okay, I'm not getting the tension here that I would like, so I think I gotta pull that off. And I can hand tighten that, yeah. Yeah, now we got no rattles. I just need to do these. Alright, well, got the balance pipe on there. It looks great. Hit a little snag with the transistors or resistors or whatever they are. I can't remember what they actually are. I always just call them the transistors. Anyways, got a little snag with that. Should have new ones here soon, so I'm going to come back when I got those, and I'll just got to screw them on, and we are done. We'll do some glory shots then. So Be just a second for you guys, but X amount of time until we get there. Alright, so discovered that the Roman's spacer that goes inside the clamp actually has two different size holes. And one is, I guess, for the older style. It's a larger hole for screwing in the transistors, and then the other side's a smaller one. Nice thing about the smaller one is you don't have to modify your clamp to fit through, whereas the old ones, the screw is bigger, and so you had to kind of like, you know, notch out the edges of that hole. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see it. If you can pick it up, you can see a little bit of the notching there. Yeah, so you don't have to do that anymore. I don't know when he switched doing that, or if he's always been doing that, or what. But discovered that. So if you didn't know that, you learned something today. All right, there's a couple things I'm not totally happy with. First, the threaded rod is sticking up just like maybe 1/8 of an inch too much. You know, a few millimeters too tall. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind that down real fast. The transistors kind of sit up a little bit more than I want. So I might have to take the little lip down, which I think I already did at one point on the old ones that were in there. I think I'd already kind of ground them down. Kind of did the ghetto lathe thing, just took a small file and chucked them up in the drill press and zipped off the edge just a touch, just so it'd sit down in the recess there of that washer. I've got to decide what I'm going to do on the transistors, or whatever they're called. But I am definitely going to take that threaded rod down just a touch. I want it to be pretty much flat at the bottom, you know, not, you know, it's conical, but then I don't want it to be like kind of raised up, you know. I want it to be down. Alright, here's the problem I've got. The transistor doesn't want to sit down in the washers that I had. These are some vintage washers. They're Ian's. Doesn't want to sit down there very far. It kind of sticks up pretty high. That's not accurate. I got some other ones. Same problem. They stick up too high. So we think that what's actually going on is the transistor needs to, or the washer needs to push over the top of the transistor. Problem is the vintage ones I have that have the wide hole is just a hair too small to slip over the end. It just doesn't quite go down. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to file out the center of this just a hair. Can't really get-a-lathe it because get-a-lathing is running a screw through it and clamping it down and putting it in a drill. You know, you can only really remove material from the outside. I don't have a way to do that, you know, from the inside. And I don't have a metal lathe yet. One day, someday, maybe I'll buckle down and purchase one soon. I need one. Anyway, so I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to think about this for a minute, because I could very easily mar up, you know, the outer edge of this by clamping onto it and just filing it. I'm not sure I'll be able to get enough pressure unless I've got something like vice grips or something to clamp it. So, or, you know, a vice, something big to hold it, because holding it with my fingers, and you know, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna wind up filing my fingers more than the washer. So I'll be back in just a moment. Might be a few days, might be a few minutes, never know. But I've got to ponder how to go about that. Weeks. It's been weeks. My excuse is I've been doing a lot. Stuff around the house. Garbage disposal broke. Leaked, flooded the kitchen. Dishwasher broke. Replacing most of my fence. Things like that. I've been busy. Anyways, I've had a lot of time to think about the solution. I don't really have a great one, but I did think of something. I have this knife sharpener. This is a clamp for holding the knife, and I could fit those washers into it and then file into the top. That way I can, you know, widen up the center of those washers, which is what we need. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to mount this to my workbench real quick and get my files out and try to widen that hole a little bit. I think it's going to be a little tedious, but it's the only way I got right now. Closer. Alright, that's it. I'm just going to use a tiny little drop of shoe glue just to keep them from moving around. Those washers are not like tight, you know, they will come off. They're decently snug. There's not a lot of play, hardly any, but I don't want them to fall off. So I'm going to use a tiny little drop of shoe glue because it's basically E6000. So if I need to undo it, you know, it's not that big a deal. You can probably just separate the parts with your fingers, and then I just got to screw them on. So we put a little blob of glue on and just finish it up. Alright, I'm going to let that set up for a moment, and then we're set. I just got to screw them on. That's it. It's done. Completed my first real parts Obi Wan saber that doesn't belong to me. So that's pretty cool. I can sort of check that off my list of props to build, even though I don't get to keep it. Downside of doing commissions, I suppose. Yeah, this has been a really cool build. Seeing a couple parts that I can't even afford. You know, the balance pipe, of course, that being the really top of the mountain right there, and then the booster as well. Like I've worked on a couple of those now, a couple of real ones, but I don't have one for myself. So, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind. It's just really cool to see the real thing, you know. Yeah, it's really interesting. This one, I really dig the grenade on this one, and the patina on the neck. It's just, I feel like it's just perfect. Yeah, this is gorgeous. I mean, epic build. I mean, really epic build. So I'll probably be shipping that out to Ian soon. We're going to work on the logistics of that. And then I'm going to be working on something else hopefully soon. Probably not, knowing my track record lately. Probably be like my fence or something crazy like that. Something else in my house will explode. Yeah. So that's been a fun build. I'm going to give you guys some glory shots of the finished lightsaber. And then that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to try to do a little write-up on my blog, propchopshop.com. Feel free to check it out. If there's anything I used, I don't know that I used anything. Shoe goo. I guess I could throw an affiliate link down there. If you click on that, it's going to go to probably Amazon, and I might make a few pennies if you buy something from that link. Yeah, so that'll be it. Here's some glory shots for you guys.